This is the Play Your Position podcast, where we huddle up, call the plays, and inspire you to run your ball into the end zone. Are you ready to score more game-winning touchdowns in your life, business, and career? Then listen up, because it's game time, baby. Now, here's your host, Mary Lou Kaiser.
I think you're truly lucky in life if you have what I call that one friend. The one who sends you a card for your birthday in the mail with a stamp and a handwritten note. The one who knows everything about you and still loves you. The one who is there for you no matter what time of day or night. The one who will be sitting next to you in jail saying, "Damn, that was fun." The one who will drive you to and pick you up from the airport. The one who will help you move. The one who reminds you there are always sunny days ahead. The one who can pick up right from where you left off, even if 10 years have passed since your last encounter. The one who will give your eulogy and mean every word of it. The one who will forgive you for being a dumbass and screwing up and making mistakes. I got to thinking about that one friend. I am lucky in the sense that I do have that one friend. I actually have a collection of people who are that one friend. And in this month of February here at PYP, we are exploring friendship and the importance of it for success in a complicated world, in a world that continues to feel uncertain and shaky at times. Having friends who accept us for who we are, who don't judge, who are available to answer a question or jump on a call or get into a heavy texting dialogue. These kinds of friends are not to be taken for granted. Now, this is how many of us in the last almost year now have managed to keep going. If you happen to have that one friend, I invite you to do a couple of things. First of all, I invite you to write about that one friend. Take 10 minutes, take 20 minutes, write a story about him or her. Think about a specific time when the two of you did something together or had a particularly deep conversation. You could write about the music you enjoyed listening to together, the songs you had memorized. Another thing you could write about is the story of your friendship through the years. Where did you guys meet? What were the circumstances of the meeting? Where in the world were you when you met? And what were you doing at the time? A third option is to write a letter to your friend. And I'm talking about a real letter here, on paper, with a pen, or in a card. You don't have to send it, or you could send it if you wanted to. The point here is to acknowledge and honor this person with your memories and also an expression of gratitude for how he or she has played a role in you being you. That one friend who has known me the longest of all my friends is someone I met when we were 14. We were freshmen in high school, and she had transferred from Catholic school to the public school system. We had English class together and got into a lot of mischief. We loved the same music, including The Doors, The Who, and Billy Joel. Through the decades since then, we have gone on to pursue our individual lives. We have both had children. She has lived in Southern California for the last 20 years. I have lived in the Pacific Northwest since I left New York to attend college. And yet over the years, despite being separated by thousands of miles, we have committed to staying in touch. She was a bridesmaid in my wedding. I read something at her wedding. We have heard each other's triumphs and sorrows, both personally and professionally. We can pick up the phone and call each other and start up again right where we left off. That, to me, is one of the coolest characteristics about having that one friend. In this day of digital and social media communication, where we are so quick to text, we are so quick to email, we are so quick to put a post up on one of the social platforms, a phone call can make your friend's day, and it can make your day too. I celebrated my birthday last week, and because of that, I was on the phone several times on my actual birthday with people I love most in this world, including that one friend. She called me, as she does every single year, and it truly was part of what made my day. I'm at a point in my life where presents and things aren't as important to me as having the opportunity to talk to the people I love most, spend time with people I love most, and I want to hear from people. I want to connect with people. I am so, so grateful to have that one friend who has known me for most of my life and can celebrate with me as we get older. Now, there seems to be this notion that the older we get, the harder it is to become friends with new people. And perhaps to a degree, this is true. However, I believe that if you set an intention to make friends with people, no matter what, you'll have friends your whole life. And yes, I've talked about this topic in previous episodes. There are seasons of friendships, and sometimes a friendship just comes to a natural end because the season in which that friendship existed comes to a natural end. I talked about that in yesterday's episode. Sometimes we're not ready for that friendship to come to an end, especially if we've put the person who we think of as our friend into one of the that friend categories, right? But regardless of this, treasure the friends you do have right now. Remember, sometimes people are going to move on, and that's okay. Recognize that in the grand scheme of life, the door of friendship can always remain open if you choose it to be. There are people in their 80s and 90s who continue to make friends, in some cases with people who are decades younger than they, for no other reason than for the joy friendship brings to life. I admire people like that because they have chosen not to stop living. They haven't shut down one of the most fundamental parts of being human, and that is friendship. Now, this is where the conversation about Facebook gets interesting. Last week, on my birthday, actually the day before my birthday, from my friends who live in Australia, who are a day ahead of me here in the States, and then on my actual birthday, and then the day after my birthday, I received over 100 heartfelt messages on Facebook. Messages that had birthday cake gifts and fun emojis and explosions of confetti, and all of these were wishing me a great day. I was laughing with my partner about this. I said, one of the best things about being on Facebook is when your birthday rolls around, because people you never hear from otherwise, who you became friends with at some point in your Facebook history, they show up and wish you a happy birthday. And for me, that is fun. For all the negative press Facebook has been getting recently, I want to return for a moment to what I remember hearing the original intention of Facebook was from the beginning, once we get past it being a way for college guys to meet college girls, because honestly, that was the intent, okay? We're not going to kid ourselves. There was no big altruistic ideal around it. It was truly a way for guys to meet girls. Now, I was an early adopter once Facebook moved out of being in the college dorms and only for college kids. And I recall hearing Mark Zuckerberg talk about the bigger purpose of Facebook is to create a digital anthology of moments in your life from birth to death. And I thought, how cool is that, right? If you are on Facebook now, or were on Facebook at one time, you know that it is possible to do this, to document your life. You know that memories are going to pop up every now and then. There's the on this day in, they sometimes will, the algorithm will put together a mini video, like about a minute long or so, highlighting different parts of your life. And this is a feature when you can go back and see your posts from years gone by based on certain dates. Now, for some people, this is really cool. Sometimes these memories, I will admit, aren't ones you want to see. And that's where the water is getting muddier and muddier because, as you know, as we go through our life, things change. People move on, people get divorced, people break up. There may be an ugly side to a business that takes place, and yet locked in time are these memories on Facebook. And I think we're at a point now where people are really beginning to ask themselves, how do I manage this thing? Especially if you've been on it for years, right? So there is that darker side, and I'll address the darker side in a separate episode. But for now, I want to go back to that early intention of Facebook as I originally understood it to be. And that was as a place to create a digital history of your life, capturing moments that you share with friends and family. Given what Facebook is now seen to be, little more than an ad platform designed to make Zuckerberg even richer than he already is, it does not surprise me that their usage is on the decline, that millions of people are fed up with the platform, that it has become synonymous with another word that begins with F, and I'm not talking about friendship. All of social media these days are platforms for advertisers and for a while politics, and that's been changed, obviously. If you can wrap your head around that reality and still get something valuable from the experience, and you believe you can add value to other people's lives with what you post, then why not? Just, be on Facebook for what it's worth. But if you can't and you're tired because there's a lot of social fatigue going on these days, then don't be on it. Don't be friends with Facebook anymore. Your true friends, that collection of that one friend, will be friends with you whether you're on Facebook or not, because that's part of the DNA of that one friend. There's nothing wrong with not being on Facebook. People delete the app from their phones all the time. In fact, I don't have Facebook on my phone. I only have it in my iPad and my laptop. I almost never go on it on my laptop because I'm using my laptop for work. And I will check the Facebook app on my iPad at least 3 times a week, but it is certainly not the center of my life. Now, another point that came up in conversation on my birthday was this idea of how many friends can you really have that are true friends, that are in that category of that one friend. Facebook had the arbitrary cap of having 5,000 friends, as if one person could possibly keep up with that many people in any meaningful way. 5,000 people, that is a lot of people. And my partner was saying that for him, the measure of a true friend is somebody who could stand up at your funeral and give a heartfelt and genuine eulogy. If you have a lot of friends on Facebook, a question to ask yourself is how many of those could be somebody who at your funeral would be able to say something for 5 minutes that was truly genuine about you. He and I both attended a funeral of a colleague of ours several years ago, and we both walked away from that experience stunned at how few people actually got up and spoke about this person. And this person was somebody who thought highly of himself. He thought himself a bigwig with loads of friends, that everybody loved him. And yet his funeral proved that that was completely inaccurate. He didn't have many friends at all. The funeral itself wasn't that well attended. And again, it was strange because his whole persona was, I'm larger than life, I'm really smart, everybody should listen to me, everyone should love me. I went to pay my respects. I would not consider myself a friend of his. And yet, despite his self-perception about his importance in the world, he didn't have anybody that truly said things that felt authentic and genuine about him. That really stuck with my partner. He said, I made a mental note to myself that day that I never want that to happen to me. So if you are lucky enough to have that one friend or a set of those one friends, cherish them, let them know you love them, don't take them for granted. If you make a mistake or say something you wished you didn't, nothing wrong with an apology. Own your dumbassery. We all do it now and then. I certainly have. The truth is, we don't always show up our best with our friends because sometimes we're not our best. And we sometimes will take more from them than we can give. We'll need to forgive ourselves for being selfish sometimes, for cutting someone off in traffic or conversation. That one friend will forgive us too. That's part of the DNA. That is part of the deal with that one friend. So I hope this gave you some food for thought. Remember to find that one friend in your phone, in your address book. Take a few minutes to honor him or her. And if you feel so inclined, pick up the phone, pop something in the mail, let them know they matter to you. Because let me tell you, we can never hear that enough. It makes all the difference. It makes all the difference. This is Mary Lou Kaiser. Thanks so much for listening to another episode of the Play Your Position podcast. I'm wishing you a great day, team. And remember, it is always a great day to get out there and play your position. We'll see you next time.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name.
Got a great key offensive strategy you like to share? Write to us at coach@pyppodcast.com or on Twitter, use #PYP and let us know how you're running your ball into the end zone for those game-winning touchdowns.